I used to work as a shift manager at a Burger King while attending night school. Our restaurant was situated in a sprawling Walmart shopping center, and every other store in that complex had a shared sentiment: frustration with the cantankerous and spiteful general manager of the Walmart. This manager had a peculiar way of handling issues within his store. Rather than addressing problems responsibly, he opted to fire employees who dared to report them. As a result, many issues festered and transformed into emergencies, such as the time when the septic tank backed up, enveloping the parking lot in a nauseating stench for an entire week. One particular issue that we grappled with was a recurring one. Every year, the Walmart manager would vent his frustration at the fast food establishments nearby by piling snow from his parking lot into massive mounds that obstructed our parking lots. He was indeed that kind of guy. Fast forward 2 months, and summer was nearly upon us. The incident I'm about to recount unfolded during a bustling lunch rush when our parking lot was typically filled to capacity. During such busy periods, some patrons would park at the far end of the Walmart lot and walk over to our restaurant. On this specific day, multiple customers approached us to report a growing fire ant nest in one of the flowery garden islands in the Walmart parking lot. We advised caution, put up warning signs, and even made several calls to our general manager, urging him to arrange for an exterminator. Regrettably, our pleas fell on deaf ears, as he claimed that we couldn't afford professional exterminators and promised to contact head office for the necessary funds. He expressed sympathy, but couldn't take immediate action, leaving us frustrated. A few days later, a woman with 3 children entered our restaurant during the lunch rush. The mother was friendly and placed an order for 1 large meal and 3 kids' meals. Our interaction seemed routine, and we thought that would be the end of it. However, we couldn't have been more wrong. Not even 7 minutes later, the woman returned to the restaurant, but this time, she looked visibly distressed and terrified. She had been pleasant during her previous visit, so this sudden change was alarming. At first, I thought there might have been a mistake with her order, or perhaps one of her kids was upset about a toy. But as I observed her, it became clear that something was gravely amiss. She was crying uncontrollably, struggling to hold herself together. I approached her gently and asked, "May I help you, Mom?" Her sobs made it challenging for her to speak, but she eventually managed to convey her distress. "My son, he has fire ants. Oh, God, please help." I was taken aback. I hadn't anticipated anything beyond an irritated adult with a few ant bites, but now a child's well-being was at stake. I immediately sprinted towards the Walmart parking lot. There, I spotted 2 kids sitting on the hood of a car while the 3rd child, a boy, was jumping around erratically, crying out in pain with tears streaming down his face. His legs were almost entirely covered in tiny orange and black fire ants, and even from a distance, it was evident that the ants were crawling all over him, leaving his legs covered in red, sore-looking bite. My initial instinct was to use the hose at the back of the restaurant to spray the ants off the child's legs, as my father had once done for my cousin when she was bitten by fire ants as a child. However, I realized a significant issue with that plan. This incident had occurred in the Walmart parking lot, where they had parked before coming to Burger King. There was no way I could get them to our hose quickly enough. Panic washed over me, and I had to think on my feet. Recalling a tragic incident in Florida, where a child had died from fire and bites a few years earlier, I understood that this situation was equally dire. The child in the parking lot appeared to have hundreds of bites. I noticed the drinks placed on the car hood in a cardboard carrier. I grabbed them, starting with the mother's large lemonade, and poured them forcefully onto the front of the boy's legs to wash off as many ants as possible. I repeated the process with the two small kids' drinks, successfully removing 99% of the fire ants. The boy was still screaming, but after I cleared the remaining ants off with my gloved hand, the immediate crisis was averted. I instructed the mother to bring the child back to Burger King so that I could tend to his injuries. She gathered her screaming child, accompanied by her other two kids, and I led her in through the delivery entrance. I rushed to grab the first aid kit, and she applied burn cream to his legs while I called 911. Within 6 minutes, the ambulance arrived. Although the child had stopped screaming, he continued to cry. The paramedics took over, and the mother hugged me tightly, thanking me between tears for helping them. 24 hours later, I learned that the Walmart manager had been sued by a local family due to dangerous conditions at his store. As a result, he was fired and replaced by an interim manager. An exterminator finally arrived within a week, eradicating the fire ants. All's well that ends well, right? Nonetheless, it was undeniably one of the most harrowing moments in my entire Burger King career, which, rather amusingly, came to an end shortly thereafter. Thank you for joining us for this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Goodbye.